In the cacophony of modern politics, one name continues to reverberate through the halls of power and the minds of citizens alike: Donald J. Trump. Love him or loathe him, his impact on American society is undeniable. What if, amidst the noise and controversy, there lies a compelling argument for his return to the highest office in the land? Could a second Trump presidency be exactly what America needs at this crossroads in history? Imagine a nation where the economy once again booms, where foreign adversaries respect our strength, and where the forgotten voices of the working class are finally heard. Picture a landscape where deregulation spurs innovation, where judicial decisions reflect original constitutional values, and where immigration policies secure our borders while welcoming skilled newcomers. These visions are not mere fantasies, they are potential realities tied to Trump's bold, unorthodox approach. This essay delves beyond the tweets and headlines, examining the substantive achievements and potential benefits of a second Trump term. As we navigate this exploration, prepare to challenge your assumptions and consider an alternative narrative. Could the very figure who has divided so many be the one to lead America into a new era of prosperity and strength? The answer may surprise you. The presidency of Donald J. Trump was one of the most controversial and polarizing in modern American history. However, beyond the polarizing rhetoric and media controversies, there are compelling reasons to argue that Donald Trump should be considered for a second term as President of the United States. In this essay, we will explore various arguments that support the notion of Trump returning to the White House, ranging from his economic policies and foreign policy achievements to his stance on immigration and judicial appointments. The objective is to provide a balanced and comprehensive perspective that highlights the potential benefits of a second Trump presidency. Economic policies and achievements. One of the most notable aspects of Trump's presidency was his economic policy. Under his administration, the United States saw significant economic growth and record low unemployment rates. Trump's economic policies were grounded in deregulation, tax cuts, and renegotiation of trade deals, all of which contributed to a robust economy before the COVID-19 pandemic. Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 was one of Trump's signature legislative achievements. This act reduced the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%, which encouraged businesses to invest more in the American economy. The tax cuts also included provisions that benefited middle-class Americans, resulting in increased disposable income for many families. Critics argued that the tax cuts primarily benefited the wealthy, but it is undeniable that the overall economic impact was positive, with GDP growth and job creation reaching impressive levels. Deregulation. Trump's administration prioritized deregulation across various sectors, arguing that excessive regulations stifle economic growth and innovation. By rolling back numerous Obama-era regulations, Trump's policies aimed to create a more business-friendly environment. This approach was particularly beneficial to industries such as energy, where deregulation led to increased production and reduced dependence on foreign oil. The result was not only job creation but also a boost to the U.S. economy through energy exports. Trade policies. Trump's approach to trade was characterized by a commitment to renegotiate trade deals to better serve American interests. The United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, replaced NAFTA and included provisions that were more favorable to American workers and industries. Trump's confrontational stance with China over trade practices led to the imposition of tariffs, which, although controversial, aimed to address long-standing issues of intellectual property theft and trade imbalances. These actions signaled a shift towards a more assertive and protectionist trade policy designed to safeguard American economic interests. Foreign policy achievements. Trump's foreign policy was marked by a mix of traditional Republican stances and unorthodox approaches. While his style was often criticized, the substance of his foreign policy achievements cannot be ignored. Middle East peace deals. One of the most significant foreign policy achievements of Trump's presidency was the brokering of peace deals between Israel and several Arab nations, including the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Sudan. These agreements, known as the Abraham Accords, were historic in their scope and significance, representing a major step towards peace and stability in the Middle East. Trump's administration played a crucial role in facilitating these agreements, which had eluded previous administrations for decades. North Korea. Trump's engagement with North Korea was another notable aspect of his foreign policy. His willingness to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un was unprecedented for a sitting U.S. president. While the long-term success of these meetings remains to be seen, Trump's approach did lead to a temporary reduction in tensions and an opening of dialogue. This was a significant departure from the more confrontational strategies of previous administrations, demonstrating a willingness to explore unconventional diplomatic avenues. NATO and defense spending. Trump's insistence that NATO allies increase their defense spending was a controversial but important aspect of his foreign policy. He argued that many NATO countries were not meeting their financial commitments, thereby placing an unfair burden on the United States. By pressuring allies to contribute more, Trump aimed to strengthen the alliance and ensure a more equitable distribution of defense responsibilities. Immigration policies. Trump's stance on immigration was one of the cornerstones of his presidential campaign and his administration. While his policies were often criticized for being harsh, they were rooted in a commitment to national security and the rule of law. Border security. Trump's administration took significant steps to enhance border security, including the construction of new barriers along the U.S.-Mexico border. While the construction of the wall was met with considerable opposition, it was a central promise of his campaign and symbolized his commitment to securing the border. Enhanced border security measures were aimed at reducing illegal immigration, human trafficking, and drug smuggling. Immigration enforcement. Under Trump's administration, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, saw increased resources and authority to enforce existing immigration laws. This included the deportation of individuals with criminal records and those who had overstayed their visas. While these policies were controversial, they were consistent with Trump's commitment to uphold the rule of law and protect American citizens. Legal immigration reform. Trump also proposed reforms to the legal immigration system, advocating for a merit-based system that prioritized skilled immigrants who could contribute to the economy. This approach was designed to attract the best and brightest from around the world while reducing the strain on social services and infrastructure caused by large-scale immigration. Judicial appointments. One of the most enduring legacies of Trump's presidency will be his impact on the federal judiciary. During his 4 years in office, Trump appointed 3 Supreme Court justices and over 200 federal judges. These appointments have shifted the ideological balance of the courts, with potential long-term implications for American law and society. Supreme Court. The appointment of Justices Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court solidified a conservative majority that could shape the direction of the court for decades. These justices were chosen for their commitment to originalism and textualism, judicial philosophies that prioritize the original meaning of the Constitution and the text of the law. This shift towards a more conservative judiciary has the potential to influence landmark decisions on issues such as abortion, gun rights, and religious freedom. Lower courts. In addition to the Supreme Court, Trump's appointments to the lower federal courts have also been significant. These judges, who serve lifetime appointments, will play a crucial role in shaping the interpretation and application of federal law across the country. By appointing judges who adhere to conservative judicial philosophies, Trump has ensured that his influence will be felt long after his presidency. Populism and the voice of the forgotten. Trump's presidency was characterized by a strong populist appeal, which resonated with many Americans who felt neglected by the political establishment. His ability to connect with voters who felt left behind by globalization and economic change was a key factor in his electoral success. Advocacy for the working class. Trump's rhetoric often focused on advocating for the working class, promising to bring back manufacturing jobs and revitalize struggling communities. His commitment to America First policies aimed to prioritize American workers and industries, challenging the status quo of free trade and globalization that had, in his view, disadvantaged many Americans. Challenging the political establishment. Trump's outsider status and willingness to challenge the political establishment were central to his appeal. He positioned himself as a disruptor who would take on the entrenched interests in Washington, D.C. This resonated with voters who were frustrated with what they saw as a corrupt and ineffective political system. By promising to drain the swamp, Trump tapped into a deep-seated desire for change and accountability in government. Conclusion. The case for Donald Trump to serve a second term as President of the United States is multifaceted and complex. While his presidency was marked by controversy and division, it also saw significant achievements in economic policy, foreign relations, immigration enforcement, and judicial appointments. Trump's populist appeal and commitment to challenging the political establishment resonated with many Americans who felt neglected by the status quo. As with any presidency, there were both successes and failures, but the arguments presented here suggest that Trump's approach to governance brought about meaningful change and addressed important issues facing the nation. A second term for Trump would provide an opportunity to build on the successes of his first term and address the challenges that remain. It would offer a chance to continue the economic policies that led to significant growth, further advance foreign policy initiatives, and solidify a conservative judicial legacy. While the decision ultimately rests with the American electorate, there is a strong case to be made for why Donald Trump deserves another term in the White House.